service rep had, for that one area, didn't have the right information. Now they do. That person's got service. They wrote us the nicest thank you note. That was, like, yeah, we're doing. But that, that's not going to happen a lot, but it can happen. And by getting the information in and us sharing it with the providers, some people, it may help some people. It will also show the interest. If you get 50 from an area, well, maybe it would be profitable to build out. Because if you have a little proof that, well, look at all these potential customers. Bob?
Bob, I just want to mention, you drill down to the specific address, but for the local officials here, you can also call up, for example, the town of Kinderhook, and you can layer it to see, all right, where is DSL available, where is cable available, or the village of Kinderhook, or whatever village or town you might be associated with or be interested in looking at. You can call those specific areas up, and it'll show you the whole town or village.
Yeah, right here from the home page, the compare areas, you can click on that and just bring it to a thing. You put in whatever county, municipal name. We have every single one, and boom, we'll spit you out a bunch of statistics. And if you want to put in another one, you can compare your stats to some other community, one county to another, just through that. It's a real easy, type in one little thing.
And just one other thing, you mentioned the speed test. There was some discussion earlier. Could you just talk about some of the cautions with speed tests that you do put on your site?
Yeah, the speed that comes to you is determined, and again, I'm not an expert, but I've learned a lot with this, so I'll try to explain it out as I know it. One, what do you subscribe to? What's the condition of the provider's equipment, the wires that come to you from their equipment? And then what's the situation in your home? Is your computer full of viruses? Is it old? You can pay for a certain level of service but not be able to get it because your equipment can't deliver it, or it could even be further upstream in the network. There could be a problem that's not the provider. So the provider is responsible for a piece of the network which causes your speed, but not all of it. And quite often, usually you can get what you pay for, and when you're not, a lot of times it's because your own equipment in your home or your business is the problem. But by taking the speed test, if you find out, hey, I'm paying for 5 meg and I'm only getting 1, you should call your provider. And they may be able to help you to figure out, well, you need to get a new router, or you need to get your computer cleaned, for viruses, or I'm sure they'll work with you. You're the customer. So it's helpful that way, but it doesn't mean if you get a lower speed that the provider's ripping you off. I mean, there's a whole lot of factors in what delivers speed. It's just a tool to help you start figuring out what you can or should be getting in your home. Yes?
Two things. One, there are sites out there in which you can do a speed test. Just a second.
Lots of them.
We're doing a test here just to see what kind of connectivity you will get just from the Wi-Fi. But I think it will also be helpful to maybe have some of those averages show up next to the address on the map. So for X particular area, these are the speed tests that we've gotten over the last month or so. So at least a person who may be able to get service from one of these providers will know what to expect. Second thing is that even though I'm a provider, wireless ISP on white space, as a matter of fact, for us it's also very difficult because we're trying to reach these communities that don't have any access, right? In our case, since we're a startup, we would like to know who they are, but there's no way to communicate between those that don't have it and those that can provide it. So it also works the other way around. And I think the map, if it was structured for both audiences, it will work really well. I mean, as we were just talking a second ago, this will be a fantastic way to get leads, right? If you're from a provider point of view, you don't have access, we provide it, one-to-one match in a matter of seconds. So please, as you're thinking about what features to include in the map, think of it from both points of view. Because here we have providers and we have people who have needs, and between communication between the two of them, there's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and you can report it, no, or if you believe that you can't get wireless, that can be reported on this too. And we'll communicate that to the wireless provider if we know to be in the area. But I hear you, we'll try and I'll look into there is some confidentiality stuff with the individual speed test reports when you get down to the discrete address, but maybe we could aggregate that and have some type of information on there that would be helpful. I'll look into that. Yes, sir.
Just to take the Congressman's point, it would be a great idea if you had a sort of a template of what a report would be from county or municipality to the citizens. You know, these are the pieces of data that you should pull out and use to help illustrate to your constituency, to your population, what is best practiced and how you can maximize what's available in your area.
Well, I'll work with Dave on that, but between the two of us, we should be able to come up with, you know,
And you know your system well, and we could have fun getting to know it, but it would shortcut some of the work, some of the effort of understanding what's most useful.
Yeah, there's a ton there.
Right.
You know, that you wouldn't know it unless it was told to you in some cases, unless you were the explorer type.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
I mean, I really want, if you guys get the word out, this site will be leveraged and we'll have better information, so we can help with a template of some sort of, here's what you can get off of this, that's important. Well, thank you very much for that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't look at this way at all.
The web address? Could you flash that back? Broadband. Okay. Thank you.
And this, I got a stack of cards right here on the counter here. It's on my cards as well. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
I'm just jumping ahead on the agenda. I saw we were on next, so I went ahead. Can you call me up while I introduce myself? I'm Bob Puckett. I'm with the New York State Telecommunications Association. I want to thank Congressman Gibson for inviting me and the rest of some of our industry participants here. And I want to thank Assemblywoman Barrett and Assemblyman McLaughlin for having us here. And in the interest of full disclosure, I live in Columbia County, and I'm a trustee in the village of Kinderhook. So certainly I have different ways of looking at things. And a lot of what I have here, I think we've seen before, and I know we're tight on time, so I'll try to move along fairly quickly, hopefully not too quickly, with regards to what I wanted to cover. We've been around since 1921. We're the original Telecommunications Association. And we have a clicker somewhere, I think. Oh, that's nice.
She just added a page by mistake. Keep going.
That's your coverage area, Bob?
Charlie's good. We saw this next. All right. And I thought what to do today was just give you a little overview, because living in the county, I read a lot of the press of what's going on in the county, and I think there's misunderstandings, I don't know where it is, of who's who are the providers, who provides what, and some of this will hopefully make you understand, help you understand why certain providers are certain areas, not in other areas. These are the incumbent local exchange carrier areas of New York State. It's been like this for 100 years. These are the old telephone company operating territories. And as you know, our industry is transformed, the cable industry is transformed. So this is the incumbent franchised areas where they operate. And a lot of times, they're not based on political boundaries at all. And this is because back in, especially the independents, the non-white areas came into being. It was basically farmers getting together and establishing phone systems because the Bell system didn't want to serve the rural areas of New York. So the white areas of the state are Verizon. We don't show New York City and Long Island because that's all Verizon as well. But upstate, you have a lot of independent phone companies. The largest one being Frontier in the blue around the state. All the rest of them are members of my organization. And in this area, Taconic, Berkshire, now Fairpoint Communications, Germantown. AT&T is also a member. We have some wireless members of our association, AT&T, Sprint. We have what we call CLECs in the business. Now, a lot of the members have also gotten together. We mentioned backhaul networks before and ion mapping, and you're going to do some mapping on commercial type backhaul facilities. This is a map we've put together of some of the backhaul facilities that a number of our members have put together across the state. And as you can see, there is a line going from Albany right through Germantown south towards New York City. So this is the backbone of the internet that's out there. This is one, there are many out there, and I think what we've heard today, and it's key, it's the last mile issue that you struggle with locally. A lot of communities have invested money in building these sorts of backhaul networks when really they're basically duplicating what's already there. The real challenge is trying to get the last mile done. And here in Columbia County, I asked the state to put this, show where the independents are. The white is the Verizon area. I think there's a little bit of frontier down in Elizaville. And again, it's not based on political boundaries. Berkshire Taconic, safe to say 95% availability of DSL at various speeds, and we'll have them talk to that in a minute. Germantown as well has some interesting, exciting projects going on. Jim Becker is here with me as well. He is the president of ION, the map that I just showed. He's also from the Middleburg Telephone Company in Schoharie County. Certainly the congressman is aware of that part of the state. And then the white area is the Verizon LEC territory. So these are the local exchange carriers. Now they're broadband providers just like cable. Who are the providers? And I apologize, I didn't put the WISPs on here, or the fixed wireless providers. But again, the local exchange carriers are doing it via DSL and fiber to the home. Germantown has been putting fiber to the home in their district. And I went over who the incumbents LECs are. We also have competitive LECs. These are new providers. I'm not sure if Tech Valley's come down this far. They're up in Albany. I didn't know if Paytech serves the college here. They usually serve colleges and go after those types of customers, large ones. We've got wireless providers. Ed is here from AT&T. We've also got Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, cable TV, and I put video providers. And usually you get cable high-speed modem service from the cable providers. Different players. You know, we all provide the same services now, but we think of ourselves as different sort of segments of the industry. So when I read about a cable provider, I'm thinking of a traditional cable television provider, not a Fairpoint, even though, and here's where it gets interesting, I live in Kinderhook. I have two cable providers, Time Warner and a subsidiary of Fairpoint Telephone Company, telecommunications. Berkshire Cable is a cable provider regulated by the state of New York to provide cable services. Same thing with Germantown. Germantown has a subsidiary that provides cable services in some of the Germantown territory. But again, those are different franchise areas. Those franchises are done usually on a municipal level, whether it's village or town level. And certainly the cable folks can talk about that. And then, of course, satellite. The big issue, of course, is cost, last mile. Three biggest issues: what is it? Real estate, location, location, location. Last mile is cost, cost, cost. The telecom industry, there's been several programs over the years that have helped develop telecommunications in the most rural areas of the country. The Federal Universal Service Fund is one of those programs. It gives telcos high cost support. We've got the Schools and Libraries program, many of you have probably heard of in the county, that supports that. The RUS, we've heard them mentioned today. They have a number of programs, some of which the Community Connect grant program actually will give money to communities to help build out networks. And I want to thank Congressman Gibson for his support in ensuring these programs are continued through the Rural Utility Service, for those of you who don't know who they are, from the Department of Agriculture. And if you're interested, I think we have brochures on some of their programs. If you need to get in contact with anybody at RUS, certainly I'm sure the Congressman's office can put you in touch, or I can, or any of the folks here. And then we have the NTIA, National Telecommunications, and I forgot the Infrastructure Administration, Information Administration out of DC as well, that have done a lot of stimulus funding for these programs.
A new thing is the FCC has just established a Connect America Fund. This is new, and the FCC last fall made some of the most dramatic changes probably in the last 20 years, 30 years in our business as far as how the telecommunications industry, especially the telephone companies, the wireless providers, receive some monies and how we pay each other and charge each other for handling each other's traffic. And the FCC is moving now more towards a broadband model. Instead of the old telephone service model, it's now more of a broadband model. And they established the CAF1 support, Connect America Fund of $300 million. There's going to be new, that's the first phase. There's additional phases that will get up to $300 million to $1.8 billion to try to get broadband further and deeper, especially in the rural areas that may not have it. 2 weeks ago, this CAF1 support, there was $300 million available. Verizon did not take advantage of that in New York State or any of their operating territory. At this time, my understanding is there's a lot of uncertainty as to how that program will operate. So I know as far as in New York, they did not take advantage of that program. So that'll move into some new phases of that program. And eventually what will happen is they may even get to competitive bidding, where if you have an unserved area, the federal government will put that up to competitive bid, and people bid to provide broadband service in that community or area, and that's how that program will work. That's fairly new, and that's all I had real quick. Bill, Bruce, Jim, Ed, anything from your thoughts? Maybe a little 2 minutes on where you're at with your respective companies.
Pagani Telephone, about 22,000 access lines, 11,000 DSL. I want to announce today, Congressman Gibson, that we did in fact turn our speeds up on August 1st as promised. We're working through the technical difficulties that are associated with that right now. But we now offer packages that range from 768 to 256, which is our basic package, all the way up to a 15-in-1. And it's distance sensitive. If you want the 15-in-1 package, you have to live within 5,000 feet. And so we're that green spot on the map. We probably cover about, I don't know, 60, 65% of what we can.
You know, thanks for that. And Ken, one of the things is, are we able to track small businesses who have been looking for, where's Ken? I'm just concerned, I find this with the farmers, with some of the energy programs we have. And so we're working really hard to get the word out about photovoltaics and the digesters, but I'm still finding some farmers that don't know. Same thing with this kind of information, you know, because we've had, New Lebanon, we talked about that. And
We've thrown out some press announcements very recently about the increases in the speed.
So hopefully we'll get some coverage of this, but we really, I think we got to make sure that we're tracking with the Chambers of Commerce too, and just try to make sure that we proliferate this information as widely as possible.
Bruce Bolisak, I'm president of Germantown Telephone Company. As you saw on the map, we serve customers in Germantown, Claremont, parts of Livingston, Gallatin, and Taconic. Been in business since 1905. We're truly, I think, a broadband company at this point. Beginning in 2008, we began putting fiber to the home. We've had 3 phases so far. We've passed approximately 900 customers with fiber. Primarily because we've transitioned beginning in 2008 from an old analog cable system to an IP-based product. It's just a wonderful service, but it affords us the capability of providing all services over the same platform. But because we do that, we have to provide almost 50 meg to the home, in a combination of the TV sets. They require approximately 6 meg of internet, and then 13 meg per TV set because it's over the same platform as the internet service. We're able to do that by using fiber and also by using the copper facilities that we have in place, by reducing the amount of the loop links and utilizing the technology available to us. We can provide internet service to 100% of our customer base, upwards of 15 meg, if not more. Our entry level is 3 meg. On fiber, our entry level is 6 meg. So it's You don't spend a dime unless it's on broadband enhancements, and so far it's proving it. The IPTV has been great for us. We're transitioning off the old 1984 analog system, which is not ready to go out, so we're just keeping it together, but so far we're doing well. And fiber to the home has been amazing. We can do upwards of 50, 100 meg on fiber. And we're in our third phase of that deployment, and we hope to eventually overlay our entire territory with fiber as our ultimate goal. Guess that's not where we stand.
Bruce, now how do you, in your covered area that we saw in a depiction of moments ago, how do you get feedback as to unserved homes, and how does that work? In terms of
we don't have any unserved homes. We're 100% broadband, so there's no home that we can't serve with broadband. In Germantown, Claremont, Livingston, Gallatin,
Does that work so well because it's kind of a contiguous area, and is that?
Well, we've planned this for years. I mean, we kept reducing our loop lengths and reducing our loop lengths by bringing the equipment closer and closer to the customer. And over time, we put in ubiquitous fiber loops to every one of our remotes, so we have redundancy. I think we've done our homework, and we saw this coming, and by doing this prior, and back in time we started back in. We began broadband DSL in, I think, 2000. So we've been at this for a while.
What's the feedback on your reliability?
We're very good. I'll add one more thing, kind of a good segue to Jim. We are a partner in both the ION fiber network, a partner and an investor, one of the founding partners in the statewide fiber network. And we're also a founding partner in a network operations center in Albany with 3 other telephone companies, Middleburg, Pattersonville, and State Telephone. So that's where we get our backbone from. And over the ION network, I mean, we have a reliability because it also is redundant rings around the state. So even if the fiber was cut, we wouldn't lose our service. So I think with a combination of the ring fiber technology through ION and also the ring architecture that we built internally, we have very, very redundant service. And I think our reliability has been 5 nines. I mean, I can say that we provide outstanding service.
Congratulations.
And before we move on, double back to Bill for a second, with this increased capacity to an average fan, who are they going to get more quality for the same price, or do they have to engage you to get? Tell me about that.
Good question. So if the average homeowner had a 1.5, 256 DSL, they were automatically upgraded to a 4-in-1 DSL package, same price. There's and incrementally, our old premium, which was a 5 and 768, I think, that was like $99. The new 15-in-1 is significantly lower than that. I don't have the prices with me. I really don't get involved in that, but I know it's less than what the old 5, 7, whatever that was. So the average, 80% of our DSL subscribers subscribe to the standard package are now all at 4-in-1 for the same price.
And Bill, same question on reliability. I mean, we worked this in Lebanon. I mean, what is your process in place to deal with reliability issues?
Yeah, well, we have a standard trouble system. The customers will call in, we'll react to that. Right now, we're going through a major network upgrade, so we're experiencing more than usual troubles, and it's the worst time of the year, August, when we have a lot of lightning storms. So right now, we're having our issues, but the way we handle it is the customer calls in, we respond to the trouble. We have a tier 2 help desk right locally in Chatham that, well, originally they'll get a hold of our help desk. The help desk can't help them, then they'll get to our tier 2 group right in Chatham, and they'll try to walk through it. It could be a computer problem, it could be a lot of things. If the tier 2 group determines that the trouble is in the local plant, the telephone network, the copper cable, or the fiber cable, what have you, they'll turn that over to the telephone company, Conic Telephone, to react to that, because we're still using the old legacy copper cable plant, and we rely on our Conic Telephone employees to maintain that. So if you're having poor performance, it may well have something to do with the old copper cable pair, or the inside wire into your house, or your phone, or what have you. So eventually it ends up with those fellows, and then they will go out and do the best they can to correct the problem. So they're, in most of those cases, they're also going to fix your telephone line, your voice line, because the two are tied directly together.
Last time we were together, we talked about the possibility of you going to town meetings, for the town boards, and just, is that coming along now?
I stand ready to attend any meetings. I'm waiting for an invite from Gallatin. They had indicated a desire to have it. And Gallatin is one of those little spots in the world that, it's served by about five providers, but nobody really does a great job with it. So, and Gallatin has challenged me to do that, and I've extended an offer to go and sit with my maps and share all the details.
I recommend you guys take a look at this, because we found that in places it's just been a lack of the common operating picture as to what capacity is there, and so there are vignettes, examples of like when they went out and like, oh geez, I didn't realize there was this issue with the connectivity, and they made it through. And then there's other issues of a hub being perhaps over subscribed to, and then you can do some adjustments. So there are some things that a town can do to try to squeeze a little bit more effectiveness and efficiency out of this capability.
Chris, the
And I bring the maps.
problem we're having in Gallatin, it's not with Fairpoint, it's not with AT&T, it's Verizon. And Taconic has the same problem. Verizon doesn't want to offer any broadband to their customers.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not sure how I want to say this. That's the challenge. Well, we're faced with the challenge because we serve the areas around Verizon, right?
Yeah.
And typically what we see is the customers that are on the far edges of Verizon are close to us.
Right.
So there's an interest for our service. Well, Bob can speak to the franchise boundaries and rules and regulations about crossing over, so on and so forth. We hear that a lot, and we would like to help, but we're limited in what we can do.
Your insights on this?
But we don't have a representative from Verizon here today to beat them up.
Well, their plan is basically where their franchise area is, and we've got a lot of rules in Albany and out of DC that, you serve your territories, and thou shalt not cross into each other's. Now, he could do it, he could form a CLAC operation. Well, not for broadband.
Well, that's what I was
But
wondering.
his plan is where it is because of the old telephone legacy, is where his plan is. Now, for broadband, he could build into those other areas. The question is the value proposition. Or he could form a CLAC and build.
You take the risk. It's the risk. It's the risk involved in building out for the deregulated services.
Which entails then a whole new accounting treatment and accounting system to separate those costs from his legacy system, which gets funding perhaps from the federal government. We can do it in another 2 hours. I know we're short on time. And
well, let me just say one other thing. For the towns that are having some issues with Verizon, I will look to hold a separate meeting for you if you desire it with Verizon. Yes. We'll make them come forward.
I'm sure Betty's in on that one too.
Yeah.
Ann,
Although
take that
Bruce has
down.
been doing a very good job for me. And I've been with him for, since the mid-'80s. So, I have no complaint with Jeremy County.
We're very short for time, and I know I want the cable folks to be able to talk. So, Jim, anything?
Well, I'll just go really quick on mine. You saw the map, and we are the middle mile guys, and while we have a network that comes through here, it is in support of the local folks that serve here, which we feel very strongly about. But sort of one thing that I wanted to bring up was that since we are statewide, we're involved in a lot of these meetings, a lot. And I think one of the benefits you have here is a lot of the counties that we're sitting down with, and we hear exactly the same things. Every question is the same, and every issue seems to be the same. The difference here is you have folks in this county that are willing to serve. They may be willing to expand. Whether it's here, whether it's cable guys, a lot of counties don't actually have it. They just have that white space horizon. And, the cell guys are there as well, but there's a rural jungle out there. It's cost benefit to them as well. But we see this, we want to be a partner to help. I just think you guys are a step ahead because you have concerning